Hello and welcome. You're watching My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We're looking at the game between Bangalore and Delhi this evening, which is happening in Dubai. And Bangalore has won the toss and Virat has decided that they would like to chase. There it is, match number 19 happening today in Dubai between two teams that are in rip-roaring form actually and are seeing themselves at the top of the table, which is pretty rare to see both these teams at the top of the table. So exciting times definitely for the league. We have Michael Vaughan joining us from the UK. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon. Have you got over your football team's hammering yesterday? I just thought I'd bring that up to start with.
Yes, send me to therapy straight away, won't you? Right in the beginning. Just unnerved me. But I was ready. I knew it was coming from you, so I was ready. Yes, we had an off day, as much as a 7-2 defined an off day. I think by the end, we were just letting in goals for fun. It's just mute Michael's mic after this for the rest of the show. We have Shaun Pollock joining us from Durban in South Africa. Shaun, we're in it together from last night, aren't we? Because you're a United fan.
No. My team is just at fourth at best. We lost to a top 8 team. Yours is the champions, and you lost to the team that just managed to avoid relegation. Don't you come 7-2, 6-1, and we played most of the game with 10 men. We were rubbish, but we weren't as bad as your 7-2.
No kinship here as well. It's really strange. I'll have to do the show with both my guests muted. But well, lots to talk about today because, Michael, the exciting thing is that both these teams, right, flattering to deceive for so many years, they haven't had, great seasons together. I don't even know if they've ever had a great season together. So it's good to see these two jostling at the top of the table because we love seeing sort of new teams like Aston Villa doing well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the two teams that have got good leadership. You've got Simon Katic. I think he's a really good T20 coach, a smart, clever cricket thinker. And I think he will have brought quite a lot to the RCB team behind the scenes, just talking about situations. I think Aaron Finch is a really good signing. He's got 150 so far, but I just think having Aaron Finch in the dressing room will certainly help the RCB. Then you look at Delhi, Ricky Ponting as the coach. Again, made some good signings and have got consistency from the get-go this year. But it's early days. There's such a long way to go. You don't want to be peaking now, but you want to get confidence early in the tournament to make sure that you make the playoffs. And both these sides have started well.
Yeah, one of these two teams is going to be top of the table this evening. They will dethrone Mumbai because they've got a game in hand. They're equal with points with the Mumbai Indians. And they're going to jump. One of them is going to jump above them. But Paulie, let's have a look at the Delhi team. They've had that forced change with Amit Mishra. And Amit Mishra has been... he's been one of the kingpins of this tournament, right? I mean, highest wicket taker and everything, and they get Akshar Patel. So it's been a bit of a Russian roulette between the spinners.
Yeah, I think it's a huge blow to miss Mishi. I think he's such an experienced campaigner. You looked at it, and I even saw a clip of the dressing room where they're having one of their team meetings, and it just seemed like he blended in well, and he was bringing a bit of a different dimension to it, and he's been bowling superbly. So I think it's a huge blow for them. Akshar obviously has some international experience, and I think that's also been the key to their success is that their bowling unit is very international and got a good understanding about what's required. But we're going to have to see how he gets on. But for Mishi, I think it's a huge blow.
And Michael, with Bangalore, we've seen a few changes, but they seem to be forced changes actually this time because Adam Zampa not well. They've got Moeen Ali in, and we don't have Mohammad Siraj there. We have Mohammad Siraj, who is coming into the squad as well. But still looking strong. No Gurkirat there, so you obviously have Moeen coming in to bat perhaps a 5 or 6. It's looking even stronger now, that top 6.
Yeah, I mean, that batting lineup is formidable. It always has been. When you play the RCB, they're going to be strong in the batting department. Virat found form. We mentioned when he hit that 4 to win the Super Over that maybe that was just the one shot that would get him back into a confident state of mind. It was proven to be the case in the next game. You look at the RCB lineup, you always know that you're going to have to be on your mettle in the field with your bowling changes. Moeen Ali will offer them a nice variation. The left hand, he hits spinners nicely. He's a free spirit, Murray. You know the way that he's going to go on bat. He just tries to crash it from pretty much ball one. Inconsistent because of the way that he plays. He's a risky player, but if he comes off, he can be a match winner with both the bat and the ball. So I know Adam Zampa were disappointed to miss out. It's hot over in Dubai and Sharjah and Abu Dhabi, and I think we'll see quite a few players miss the odd game because of a little bit of heat exhaustion. So Moeen is a perfect replacement for someone like Adam Zampa. He offers the all-round quality and certainly can provide the impact both in the field and with the bat in hand.
Paul, are you liking Moeen Ali being in the team?
Yeah, I like the call. I mean, I don't know how many overs he'll bowl. I think Washington Sunder's been so good. They do have some left-handers, Delhi, so there might be a role for two of them at one stage, particularly depending on who's at the crease. And we're hearing that the ground has got a short boundary as well. So if we can get the left-handers to maybe target the big boundary. So Ridge, I think, is the best inclusion for me. I watched the game the other day. I know they won comfortably, but I just felt like they were really lacking something in the bowling department, particularly up front and at the back end. I thought they were pretty limited to where they could go with their options. I know the thinking is to get Chris Morris back in once he's out past his side strain, and he might take over from Moeen Ali or Zampa. But I just felt in that last game they were short of something that could add to Sani. Sani was superb, and Dunne was decent at the start, but I like the extra fast bowling option.
Well, all right. So you've got Mohammad Siraj and Navdeep Saini. Both are going to be there. So two Indian young guns, and they're going to come fast at you. Well, I tell you what, this tournament comes fast at you, and you've got to make your teams really quick as well on My 11 Circle. So go to my11circle.com. You download the app. You choose today's game, which is Bangalore v Delhi. Lots of young talent to pick from both sides. Make your 11 and see if you can beat the other. And also want to tell you that this season, you can also win up to 1 crore. You can win 1 crore actually every week. So that's some big money. So I hope you've got your skill all fine-tuned in picking your players. All right. Well, we have Bangalore and Delhi. Both these teams playing today. We're going to talk about Navdeep Saini for just a second. Paul, you've spoken about Siraj, about Mohammad Siraj. Navdeep Saini on the other side. He's throwing some fireballs, isn't he?
He is, and it's good to see. I feel sorry for the bowlers at times, and you really just feel like they're making up numbers and they're so defensive. He's one of those guys in the tournament so far. There's been times where he's charged in and he's banged it in back of length, and he's actually made the batsman jump around and made them get on the defensive rather than looking just to smash the bowlers to all parts. So I've been impressed by that. I think he's probably bowled the quickest delivery. There we go. He's bowled a couple of deliveries. Yeah. So he is getting them to jump around, and that's good. It's good to have in your artillery. There's certain batsmen, you see these bullies that come in the middle order that just want to stand and deliver. So even if it's for a couple of deliveries where you can fly on past the nose, get them to have the weight on the back foot for 2 or 3 deliveries, I think it's important. So I've been impressed with what he's done, and also his bowling at the death has been pretty controlled. Yeah,
I actually think T20 cricket, it's getting to the stage where the more I watch of it, the more that I'm starting to, they hit some bitsy style bowlers that bowl a few out the back of the hand around 80 odd miles an hour. I'm hoping they're going to be moved to one side eventually because I want to see real pace. For me, cricket is about, charging in. If you've got the ability to bowl pace, rough a batsman up, even though it's T20 cricket, I like to see that the real pacey bowlers get a little bit of reward. And instead, we're seeing a youngish kind of Indian pace bowler who's not played that much international cricket, but I think over the course of the next few years, we'll be seeing plenty of him because you look at the kind of stock of Indian quick bowlers now with Bumrah, with Shami, Ishant Sharma, Yadav. You've got a stock of quick bowlers I think the rest of the world are going to start to look at and be very jealous because of that kind of quality and depth. And that's exactly what you need. So I'm all for the pacers. Get a bit of pace in T20 cricket, a bit of chin music, make the batsman sniff a few. I'm delighted to see that he's doing well and being successful, bowling with a bit of gas.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with Vaughan there. I want to see the bowlers getting more involved. It's so sad to at times see the defensive mindset where they're actually trying to bowl deliveries that are out of the reach of the batsman just to be successful or have an impact. Contest between bat and ball is always about the bowlers have to, for some period of time, think, listen, I can knock him over. I can have influence by getting him out. I hate to see the mindset at times where it's just about how can I get out of here without too much damage being done. And that's unfortunately some of these T20 games. That's what that's producing.
Well, we're going to get some chin music from the other side as well. You've got KG and Andrik Nokia on that side for Delhi.
Yeah, we have, and they've been impressive. The two South Africans have done a good job for Delhi, and it seems to be pretty clear about what their roles are. I think the management group, someone like a Ricky Ponting and Ryan Harris will definitely be saying to them, "Listen, guys, when you charge in, there's times where we can make them feel uncomfortable," and I think they get given license at times to try and get a few through the air. We saw bowling to Russell the other game. When he came to the crease, he got one away, but KG wasn't backing off and kept with a similar approach, and it reaped dividends for them. So it's nice to see, and those guys look like they're enjoying themselves. We watch a lot of them here in South Africa, and sometimes body language-wise, you can see they feel like they're under a stress or maybe feeling the adverse effect of the pressure of dealing with the situations. Whereas at the moment in this tournament, KG's been full of smiles. Nokia looks like he's really stuck into it and been getting pumped up. So I think they're enjoying the roles and the jobs they've been given.
Yeah,
and the thing, if you come away from Charger smiling, then you've had a good day, right? As a fast bowler.
Yeah, for sure.
Went away from Charger smiling, but the odd one will get a nice little taxi back to Dubai and Abu Dhabi with a smile on their face. I think it was a really good choice, Nokia. If you think about the replacement, he replaced Jason Roy.
Yep.
So the management there in Delhi and Ricky Ponting and his team thought long and hard. What did they need? They had plenty of batting, plenty of Indian batsmen as well. They didn't need an extra batsman. They went for a real quick, pacey bowler that could rough the opposing team up. So clever thinking from the Delhi Capitals management. Yeah,
and Chris Wokes also didn't make it. They got Daniel Sams, so they got two replacements. So yet to see Daniel Sams, but whatever we've seen, Avantrik Nokia has been very, very impressive. And of course, Kagiso Rabada on the other side, well, you have to count him in every game. You've got to count him in your My 11 Circle team as well, which is why we have him as the trump card today, because he really is. He is that trump card. He showed it last year as well when he went away just before the playoffs. And of course, he showed it against Bangalore, 6 wickets. Yeah, and Polly, a sharp economy right there as well against some very big hitters.
Yeah, and you've got to have a look at where he executes his role. It's often at the front and at the back end when you're under pressure, in that first 6. And he's also done some brilliant jobs in the super overs to get Delhi over the line. So I think he's confident about what he's trying to do, and he feels like he knows his job. So he's a guy who's going to, I think, go from strength to strength internationally and in this IPL. He's a quality act, and he's a fit guy too. He tends to keep coming in. He doesn't have too many injuries, although he missed out at the end of the IPL last year. But he's a guy that can just keep running in and keep producing.
Well, we've got, talking about fit guys, we also want to bring up the Boost Stamina Meter. We'll have a real quick look at that because it's taking a lot of energy. It's very sapping to be playing in the kind of conditions that they're playing in. And there's the leaderboard. I've got some familiar suspects. You've got Andre Russell right at the top. And, of course, people who've been getting runs and people who've been getting wickets. We've got AB de Villiers there. Obviously, can't have T20 cricket without AB de Villiers lighting up a few. But Michael also, wicket keeper, right? I mean, he's not really done this in the last 4 years. And he's doing it now. He's at 4 innings, 146 runs. He's got an amazing strike rate, 180 almost. He's running between the wickets and he runs real quick. He's saved runs. He's attempted catches. He's a live wire on the field. But, Michael, my question to you is, AB de Villiers the wicket keeper or AB de Villiers the gun outfielder? Because we've seen what people like Faf can do in the outfield and try to change games.
In this team, he's the wicket keeper because it allows them to play a Moeen Ali or an Adam Zampa, Morris later down the line. Josh Felipe started the tournament. He's a very fine young cricketer. I'm sure over the next few years we'll see a lot more of Josh Felipe. But I just think they're a better team with AB behind the sticks. Yes, you miss his expertise in the outfield, his flying catches, his ability to save runs, but don't underestimate the amount of information he's given Virat Kohli, the captain, from behind the stumps as a senior pro, getting the angles right in the field. The problem when you've got Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers in your side, it's where you bat them, and you want them to have as many balls as possible. But sometimes, obviously, AB at 4, I think the average amount of balls he's faced so far have been 21 in the tournament. You'd like him to face a few more. But it's actually sometimes a good sign that he's not facing a huge amount of balls because the top 3 are doing such a good job. Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, they could easily open in T20 cricket. They could easily go to the top of the shelf and you try and give them as many balls as possible. But when you've got Finch and you've got Padikala, who's played so well, That 3 and 4 just looks such a powerhouse. And we've said it for many years. With those two at 3 and 4, you would expect one year them to be good enough to go on and lift the trophy with that combination. Surely one year they're just going to get it absolutely spot on. They're going to find form. They're going to blow away teams at the right time. Maybe it's this year. They've started well enough to try and continue with this kind of momentum from an early start. But, Polly, he'll have his own opinion. Those players, and AB, you're going to always question, do they need to have more balls? Where do you bat them? Do you put him behind the stumps? Do you put him at cover point? He's just an incredible cricketer that can he probably can bowl as well. I've never seen him, but he probably can do it.
Polly, can he? Can he bowl? Can he fly?
I think if I'm not mistaken, he's got a test wicket and a one-day international wicket. It was he went to a period where he almost tried to bowl the 5th or 6th bowling job for South Africa. It's a bit of a it's not as fluent as his batting, his action. If we be honest with you, it's very rigid and it sort of gets up in position. But he's done it. He doesn't bat. He bowls. He fields. He keeps. He's pretty spectacular, old Davey.
It's 9. He's got 9 wickets in international cricket.
There you go.
Yeah, not too bad.
He won't be bowling. I can put my house on it. He will not deliver a ball this tournament.
Just Michael.
No noise, but he can play golf, scratch, I believe. Polly, rugby superstar, he can play tennis. Probably could have played at Wimbledon if he'd have put his hand to tennis. He's one of those freak people that can pretty much do absolutely anything. He could probably play centre half for Liverpool at the minute.
I could play centre half for Liverpool at the minute, right? I could do it.
What you have to know about AB, right, is he did try and do a bit of bowling, but then the back sort of played its part. I mean, to be an international rounder and do a lot of bowling, you have to have a really good body to be able to get through that.
I mean, I'm worried. That's the back that worries me with him as a wicketkeeper as well, because that really does take a lot of strain with 120 balls and the speed that the game goes at now.
Yeah, but it's mainly squats. Squats is where the legs get sore.
It's fine. It's all right. It's fine. My back gets sore when I'm a wicketkeeper because I'm not half the athlete that AB de Villiers is. But I could still play centre half for Liverpool right now. Okay, well, we of course are talking about AB de Villiers. We are talking about Dev Padikkal. I really want to just touch upon him. I know we've spoken a lot about him. Supremely impressive, hasn't he been? And we've had Virat Kohli say about him. He says that I spoke to Simon Kadich. We looked at him. We said, it's just he's got reach. He's got great eye and balance. His head is still. Clean shots. You don't feel like he's taking a risk as such. And that last line, Michael, is so important. When your captain gives you, that's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, when Virat speaks, most people listen. And when you've got a legend like Virat Kohli bigging you up, and no surprise with the way that he's played, consistent, striking at a nice rate. He looks to me like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's obviously around a group of players that you can dream of being in a better dressing room as a young player to kind of just watch the likes of AB and Virat go about the business. Aaron Finch, he's had a tremendous start. I love his story. The fact is his parents made him to be a cricketer. He was born to be the cricketer that we're seeing. No, he's a very talented young player, and so far he's very leg side orientated, but Graham Smith made a very strong career hitting it through the leg side, and the Padikkal looks like he's I wouldn't say a similar player, but he favours that leg side. So his kind of moment will come when the bowlers, having seen him for 3 or 4 games, will they find him out, try and push it a little bit wider of that off stump, try and take it across him, and make it a little bit harder for him to get to that leg side. But he looks a very, very good young player.
Yeah, I think there is little checkpoints. When a young guy comes in, you sort of have a look at it and see what the package is all about and what he can or can't do, what shots, what sort of timing, is he elegant, what has he got to his game? And then there's checkpoints. Can he play against spin? Has he got options to be able to hit the ball over the top and find areas? He's seemed to do that. And then we say, okay, well, someone like Archer is going to come up against him. Can he deal with that extra bounce and extra pace? He showed that he can. So there's a lot of good things going in this direction. I agree with Vaughan. I think the one area where they might start to find him out a little bit is he doesn't get a massive stride, and it's almost his weight's on the back foot. He's not a big stride on that front foot. So if you can get him outside the off stump, trying to whack it through that area, I think that could be his shortcomings. But for now, he's answered all the questions. And I think it's often about how they go about their business rather than actual results that will show you that he'll be around for the long haul.
Well, they're asking questions. You're asking questions as well. Let's see if we can try to answer that. Our hashtag is Ask Cricbuzz Live. Ame Jadav, Ame Man United. That's just Shaun Pollock's other handle, essentially. Rishabh Pant is batting slower this season. Is this signs of him maturing and playing to the team's requirement, or is this a form thing? Gentlemen, who'd like to take it?
Well, Ricky, they did a discussion about Ricky. He said in the dressing room with one of the speeches that were shown on social media about this is his blueprint. This is the way he wants him to play, minimal risk, and he still scored at a strike rate of 160. I think sometimes the penny does have to drop with these aggressive batsmen. You're trying to be aggressive without being reckless. If you can cut your risk rate down from 80% to 60% most of the time, and you're going to be more consistent and going to keep performing. And I think that's what the team needed from him. You don't want him to lose his flair, but he's got to rein it in at times and play according to the situation. So that is maybe a sign of him maturing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, is this the problem? Is people just expecting 180, 200 from him every time in terms of strike rate?
Yeah, I guess so. He probably expected that as well. But the most important thing when you start to mature is you want to be consistent. And the only way you can really be consistent is you can't just expect to be striking at 180 in every single game. You just don't see the ball as well on every occasion that you go out to bat. The opposition ball welching, you've got to respect that. What Rishabh's done already in his career, he's taken the field just a little bit deeper because of the way that he hits the ball. So if he's smart, he'll realise that he might get the fielders in tight for 2 or 3 balls, but then they'll just go a little bit deeper, and the ones and the twos are always going to be there for him. I guess what teams will do to him is dangle the carrot for the big shot all the time. He looks to me like he's one of those kind of characters that if you're out in the field, you'd probably egg him on to playing the shots. You'd be opening up an area or two, having a word in his ear to try and get him hitting into the areas that potentially he wouldn't fancy. But he just looks like, whether he's maturing, that would be a good sign for Indian cricket. If he can really start to find his kind of temperament and calmness in all situations, that's only going to do Indian cricket a huge amount of good. And as I said, I'll keep mentioning it, those young Indian players in that dressing room with Ricky Ponting, you couldn't ask for a better tutor just to be in your ear, talking you through batting, different situations, facing different bowlers, keeping yourself very level-headed for the next game. If you've done well in one game, that's gone. You've got to go into the next game. And consistency is the key. Even in T20 cricket, the best players, they find a way of being consistent. And Rishabh's got to find a way of being consistent across the T20 game.
Got to be a sponge when you're around Ricky Ponting. SpongeBob Rishabh Pant, yeah? Polly, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, after that speech we saw about the blueprint, you can imagine the comments out there in the middle saying, listen, he's going away from Ricky's blueprint here. He's not going according to the plans of the coach. If he starts to swap, they'll be on his case. Young guys, you can sometimes get through to them with the odd comment.
We also just want to touch on Chahal because Bangalore is going to be bowling first. Yuzi Chahal, he has, of course, been amongst the wickets and, he always is sort of amongst the wickets. But interesting how he's mixing up the speeds, Polly, and that's what I found interesting about him this season. He's very, very sharp, very perceptive, very clever, and using all of that.
Yeah, he's had a great understanding about what's required. Look at those names that he's got out as well. It's not just miniature players, it's some real big players for the teams. And, we dealt with him at the Mumbai Indians way back before he really burst onto the scene. And even in the nets, there was something uncanny about him. He had that ability, you watch these guys in the net sessions and all they want to do is smash it out the ground. But Andrew Simons was there at the time and he kept picking up wickets. If I know what I mean, like guys would go after him and they'd hold out. They wouldn't be able to clear the boundaries. They'd miss and be stumped. There was just something about him that he had this understanding about what was required. And he's taken that from strength to strength after he's burst onto the domestic scene and international side. And I think he's a confident bowler. He's got some good variation and he's got that consistency and accuracy. And it's proving he is the biggest gun player in the middle overs. There was a poll the other day, who's most valuable? Kohli, De Villiers. I think Chahal, the overs he gives you. And on these slightly bigger grounds where he can be a little bit more expensive, I think he is such a huge player for them.
Colin, have you just actually said that Chahal is more important than Virat Kohli?
In the middle overs.
in the middle overs, yeah.
While the team is bowling.
I know this one.
I can tell you something. If we had a little more time on the show, I would have let you go baiting him completely. But because we were dead out of time, but I'm sure we'll find many, many occasions as we go through this evening or the afternoon, if you're in the UK like Michael, that we will try to bait each other a lot more. But right now, we're not baiting you. We're telling you that our Joy Factor question is very simple today. It is. I'm serious. If it was Colin Cowdrey in 54, the Nawab of Pataudi in 63, and Vic Marks in 76, who was it in 1974? Come on, Michael. You were a wee lad then. I'm sure you can tell us.
I was just born in 1974. Vic Marks is a pie. So off spin. No.
While he tries to figure that out, let me tell you that you can give us the answer if you figured it out. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. You can just send us your answers on Twitter. We are on the watch out. You can send in your questions as well. Our My 11 Circle badge of honor. Delhi batting first in Dubai. Who can get their guess closest to what their score will be in 20 overs? Who'd like to go first? Paulie, would you like to go first?
We'll give it to Vaughnie.
Vaughnie, come on.
I'm going to go 179.
179. Okay, Paulie?
187 for me.
187. Should have gone first. Just jam myself right in the middle there. 183.
Ooh.
So
I have no wingspan at all, whereas you guys get a little bit of swing one way or the other. So, well, let's see what happens. We, of course, will be here at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. This time we will review what has happened at the halfway stage of the first innings. Right now, I'd like to thank Michael Vaughan and Shaun Pollock. Big thank you to all of you for being with us here on My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. See you soon.